Hello everyone, Nathan here, and today we're going to be looking at a relatively simple aspect of Minetest modding, but something very important as well, and that's just config files. Now, a lot of times when you're making a mod, you're like, I want to make some things for people to change easily. I don't want them to have to dig through all the Lua files and change things where I'm commenting to say change this to do this. So an easier way is just to make one file, in this case a config.txt, and put those variables right in here. So I already thrown a simple one together, just real simple basic stuff, and I'm going to show you how to use all this. So basically I have a run ABM, which can be set to true or false, and you do still have to do the 2 dashes between any type of a comment, because otherwise it tries to interpret these comments as code. And it's always nice to tell people what to change these values to. So right here we have an ABM, either it'll run or if it's false, it won't. So that's pretty nice to give a little idea of what this change is going to do. Here, ABM intervals. Pretty self-explanatory, but I'll make sure people know it's how many seconds between they run. And then this one is actually bogus, but you can do anything with these. So let's first take a look at how we're doing this ABM running. So we'll jump over into the init file here, and you'll notice that I have modified this. Maybe you won't notice, but I'll point it out. The first thing we are doing is loading this config text, and then of course we are going through and loading the other. But you'll notice here suddenly something's different, and there's an if statement. We're saying if run ABM, then load the ABM Lua. So going back right here, this is run ABM, and this is where the run ABM is being used. Now because it's a true false, you only have to say if run ABM then. This will only run if it's true. If it's false, it won't, and the ABMs will not be loaded, and the game, or the mod rather, will run without using any ABMs. Now of course this will only affect the ABMs that are in the ABM Lua file. If you had an ABM in any other code, it'll still load. So you can easily turn on and off parts of a mod by putting in the config, whatever you want to call it, true or false, and then just put an if statement here. And you could do like just do game mode equals, and we're just going to set it at easy, and then we'll just say set to easy, medium, or hard. And then here we would just do if game mode equals easy. And I believe we're doing it right. Oh, if game mode equals easy, then, and then we want to indent it and say, whatever we're setting up, we would have then 3 Lua files that we would be loading, and we would load, something maybe called easy Lua. And of course we would have the full line of code there, and then we would actually end that. No, we wouldn't. We would just go and we do elif, which stands for else if, game mode, case is important, easy, medium, then, and we would do the exact same thing, do file, everything there, medium.lua, and then finally we do this, and then we would do an end, and it would also help if we weren't spelling things goofy. Now I just want to double check real quick to see if that is actually done correctly, because I feel like that may need to be put in quotes because we're matching strings. I should have a survival course I don't. Oh, I must have opened it with the other editor. Bear with me 1 second here. Survival, and I have a config in here someplace. Oh wait, not survival, more fire. That's what it is. More fire has a config, and then I also want to open nodes to see how I am interpreting that, because I know it works here. For the torches, actually first check. Here we're just doing a true false, but when I wrote the code up for this, I was a dummy, and I didn't know that true and false would just... Yeah, see, I'm doing equals true, which... I didn't put in quotes, but true is a... It's not interpreted as text, it's interpreted as a true false on off. We'll have to test this. I'll come back to that later. Okay, so... And actually, I'm going to have to comment that all out, because otherwise the game will not load at all. And this, I mean, we can put all the things we want here, and this won't matter, because it's just going to read these, and as long as everything's commented correctly, it'll work just fine, even if these values never get called. Okay, so here we're doing one that is a integer. So we have ABM interval 20 seconds. So let's take a look at the ABM file here. And here you'll see we have interval equals ABM interval. So whoever's playing the game say, I want the ABM to run every 2 seconds. And no, trust me, on this mod you do not. You will regret it. But 2 seconds? 2 seconds it is. Let's launch the world and watch the destruction. Waiting for some destruction here. Waiting. Oh, wait, here it is. I'm seeing it. Whoa, look at that. All my lovely grass just turned into these... Oh, there goes the rest of my lovely grass. As fast as I run, the ground is being turned into this disgusting smeared texture. Yeah, that's running way too often. Let's exit to the menu. Let's put that up to like a minute. And now, of course, because I just ran through and destroyed all my terrain, let's get someplace where there's still some grass. Oh, there's enough grass out here. Oh, that direction there's lots of grass. Let's see. Going to have to wait a minute. Ooh, I just saw a bunch of stuff happening. Notice how suddenly there are all these little stone wedges and tan colored. I'll have to wait another minute, and that's going to execute again. Okay, so we see how that's working. And actually, let's just set this to false. Because, like I said, you really don't want to use ABMs in this unreleased mod that'll never be released, because it'll destroy all of your worlds. It really will. Puts wood everywhere. I mean, that's from a previous video. But now the ABMs are turned off, so this grass will never change. Unless, of course, an ABM from something else is changing the grass. So that makes that easy. And yeah, to run it, it's as simple as putting that variable in instead of putting the number in. So now let's take a look. Okay, we are going to run ABM. We are going to change to no_way. And then we'll do if run ABM equals no_way, and this will throw an error at us if it is incorrect, which I feel Wait a minute. I thought that little stone piece just generated. Whoa, that little stone piece just generated, I think. You know what, though? Forgot to change my interval here. Put that back 2 seconds. Can't be waiting 60 seconds for one of these things to happen. Alright. Okay, it's happening. I'm seeing little spots appearing here. Okay, so just to test this out, and I should have done this before I recorded, but I didn't think of it at the time. We're going to make it a string. And see if we get any changes. Not noticing anything. Okay, so it looks like we do not want it to be a string. Now, of course, as we have demonstrated in previous videos, the best way to debug is to throw in a print statement and say, let's do ABM running. Of course, we should have really done a not, or a, yeah, pretty much if it's not, no way, then run it, but whatever. It's not going to kill anybody. This is just an example of how we would use this. Alright, so that's long enough. Pull up just my text editor here and open the debug, which of course is not still in my recent list. And of course that isn't either. Debug. Let's scroll through the like 200,000. Oh, only 6,573. And let's see. Undeclared global variable. No way accessed. Line 7. Yeah, undeclared global values here. Blah, blah, blah. ABM running. Oh, because you're supposed to call those out as global variables. Whoops, never did that. Okay, so it is working without being in quotes. Let's put it in quotes, and let's just change that so we'll know that we did indeed see a difference. And again, it just needs to load. Reload this. And these variables were found, but it did not print. So this was not going to run the ABMs. So you do not want that to be in quotes. So yes, you would just do easy, medium, and hard here. Get rid of those because those are not being used at all. Now there's one other thing I'm going to show you real quick too. And we actually use this in the landscaping mod that Don and I worked on. And we're just going to, actually let's recall this, visible in creative. Oh, or one. And then we're just going to say VIC, which will stand for visible in creative. And we're going to say 0. 0, of course, being no, 1 being yes. And we'll save that. And we'll go ahead and save this. And actually, I'm going to delete that useless code out. And we'll have to open from the new mod here. We need to open the nodes. Alright, and we are going to look at the groups. And we will... Yeah, what's that group again? Not in... I don't remember. So here's what we will do. We will open a file that has it. And I'll actually just show you rather than typing it all out because it's pretty simple, I think. That should be under walls, I believe. I thought it was under. Oh, here we go. Oh, that change got lost. Well, not to worry though, because I do have what I actually needed. So we'll throw this in. Now in creative inventory, instead of that, we will have it equal VIC. VIC equals 0. Okay, and this is new mod wall. Great, so let's, is Minetest still running? I think it is, yes it is. Turn creative on, let's hit play. And then let's look at the creative inventory here. Now new mod should come after default. I think it's after those. Wait a minute, I know I had more fire too. Or wait. Yeah. Okay, so I turned to new mod wall, which description is wall parts. Well, I see one wall part there. And I see another wall part. That's the trouble with having too many pieces. We're going to call it this wall part, just for ease of locating. Alright, so we go to create inventory again. Jump over. This wall part. Okay, currently it is visible. So now we will just change VIC to equal 1. Save that. Hop right back in here. And jump all the way over again. Column, wall part. But no this wall part. So then, if you had a machine that you can make pieces through, like the My Landscaping mod does, you just can set, you know, whatever you want to call your variable here, and then in your nodes, for not in creative inventory, just equal that variable's name, and then if you're in creative, and you're like, I am sick and tired of scrolling through 20 pages of different colored wall pieces. This is annoying. I don't like this. But I like this mod. I don't want to lose it. Simple enough to, you know, change one value right here. Save your config file. Load the game back up. And suddenly, all of those are not in creative inventory anymore. Only way to get them is through the machine. Which, if you have creative inventory on and you have one of an item in your inventory, you can place it a million times and it never goes away from your inventory. Most cases. There are a few, I think, actually, where in creative inventory that there's an option where you can turn that off, and people have done that. But for the most part, you'll be able to place as many as you want once you build one and put it in your inventory. So that's another nice little feature you can do with a config file. And it's way less daunting? Is that the right word? Am I pronouncing it right? It's way less confusing for, you know, a newbie who's just like, I want to change this, but I don't know how. If they can go into your mod and, oh, here's a configuration file, let's look at it, and, oh, okay, well, this is what I need to change, and I will just change that to the correct value that I want. And now that's no longer visible in creative inventory. And they're not going through doing something like this. Not underscore in creative inventory search. Oh, it's here once. Okay, let me change that value. And going through and through. Or, and this is what they would do if they were smart, they would use a replace function. And they would search for this equals 0. And then they would just copy that line through right there and replace it with 1, and then they would replace and find all, and it would be done. But it's so much faster they can just change one value and everything will be updated for them. So that's kind of an intro into how to use configuration files. Of course, there are a lot of other things you can do, but this is kind of just brushing on the beginning of it. The one thing I was kind of looking at, which I wish I could have figured out, would be a way to change the resolution of the textures you use. But I couldn't figure out anything to do, like where its textures get read from. I think that still, unfortunately, is going to be something where you just have to delete things out and rename them. Which I wish there was some way to set a config so I could provide, you know, 16 by 16 and 32 by 32 textures for my mods. And then somebody playing it could just change the config file to get the resolution that they want to match up with their texture pack. But I did not see an option for that, so it's going to have to stay the way it is. But there you go. Intro to config files for Minetest mods. Hope you guys learned something and enjoyed. I will be back again next week with another Minetest modding tutorial. And thanks for watching.